You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, back to the show with local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, this Saturday, March 19th show. You can also listen to my show podcast, Facebook premiere, or you can catch my show on my show YouTube channel. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. I bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. Now in studio, Ariel Hubbard of Hubbard Health Solutions, keeping life positive, right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Very excited, Ariel, to have a conversation with you. And your business is called Hubbard Health Solutions. What kind of solutions do you offer to your clients?
So health means a lot of things to a lot of people. And what I offer are different options for people. So for people who have physical issues, like physical pain, I'm a massage therapist, a licensed massage therapist. If they're looking to change their mindset, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist who can help them deal with what's going on in their mind, right? If they're looking to let go of stagnant, heavy emotions that keep them stuck or keep them repeating patterns that are not helpful, I can do hypnotherapy and I can do some other modalities as well. And I also help people feel lighter and brighter. I help them get out of the rut that they're in. And, you know, we've all been dealing with challenges with stagnation with the pandemic, right? So we've all been, you know, in this little cave, and people need change. They need flow. They need movement. So I help them do all of those things. And so when I meet with people, I talk with them about whatever's going on with them. And then I customize a treatment protocol specifically for them.
Nice. So you're a lot of the tools in the toolbox, and you'll determine what tools that they are going to need to get them up to their highest level ability, mentally and physically.
Right. So like, you know, this is the money hour, right? This is about success with money, right? The thing is, a lot of times for people to be successful when working with money or to be on top of it, you know, like you give this fantastic report about what's going on, you have to be clear. Yes. So I help people get clear so that they can do the things they need to do to create or manifest or work with the money that they're working with.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't be successful in business if you are not healthy and successful in your personal life, for sure. So Ariel, what kind of experience do you have with working with your clients?
So I have been working with clients in energy medicine for 32 years, and I've been working with clients in massage for 27. I've worked on about 29,000 people. Yeah. So I have a lot of experience working with people, and I've learned a lot over the years, and people give me a lot of great information. I learn from people all the time.
Yeah. And same thing, you know, in my field, for 27, I always say over a quarter century, but 27 years is all of the clients and the new things that come in, that continues to level up your expertise, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Especially if I'm working with people post-surgery, or I'm working with people with different pathologies. Sometimes I'll have to have them educate me about whatever they're dealing with, and then I come up with a treatment protocol for them. So I'm learning all the time. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. So Ariel, when you work with your clients, what are you seeing are the biggest life challenges that people are having?
Getting in their own way and poor self-care.
That makes sense.
So let's start with the second. I joke with my clients that once you hit 40, all of the things that you have not been taking care of catch up with you, and people start to feel it in their body. Like they start to feel, you know, pain or discomfort that they've never had before. You could get away with it in your 30s or your 20s, but not so much in your 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah.
You know,
and it keeps getting worse as time goes on if you don't take care of it.
Yes, it does. It does. It compounds over time. So what I do is I help work with people to unwind years and years of neglect. And I teach people how to do some proper self-care. And then the getting it in your own way thing, a lot of times that's negative beliefs or limiting thoughts or self-esteem. And I talk with people about those things too. I work with them on that as well.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, it's interesting, but definitely is majority of a challenge taking care of other people first before taking care of themselves. And that's backwards. You need to be your best self
Mhm.
before you can ever be of true support to others. So, Ariel, how do you help people move from challenges to positive outcomes?
So there's this magical thing. It's called the reframe. And Dina, you know all about this because you do this all the time when you work and you teach and you help your clients. And it's about changing our perception of how we experience reality and changing it into something else and looking for something that is a positive instead of a negative. And they've done a lot of studies on this. This isn't just Pollyanna talk here. They've
Yeah.
done studies that people who have a positive mindset will get better results. They're physically more healthy. They are mentally healthier. They're emotionally healthier, and they make clearer decisions about their lives. And they take different kinds of actions than people who are not in a positive framework. I use humor a lot. We talk about whatever's going on with someone, and we joke about it a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I give people tools to like, okay, well, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
How are you going to work with this? And I give them some ideas and suggestions.
Yeah. And because you can definitely look at the glass half full or half empty, but if you're looking at it half empty, when you have somebody like Ariel on your side, there is always a way to fill that glass up. And it is so true that it starts with your foundation is your mindset and how you can look at the positive, because the universe is balanced. So every negative or every challenge, there is something positive on the other side. And you can only reach and bring that into your life if you're focused on, what I call positive triggers. And that's really what Ariel, helps to bring in how you can draw those in and have the tools to help. So that's amazing. Because I'm really a fan of you, Ariel. You know that.
Thank you.
And a fan of the work that you do, which is really unique in your industry for sure. So how do you choose a positive outlook when you're dealing with so much? There's so much happening in the world, and a lot of people personally themselves just feel that there is no way to get out of whatever situation they're in. So how do you bring and help them have a positive outlook?
It's a great question. I help them break down their situation into pieces and parts, and I help them step into observer mode a lot. And when you step out of your negative emotional reactions to things, or you step out of your trauma triggers,
Yes.
when you're not in a space of reactivity and you can step back and then get a higher perspective. So sometimes I'll do things to help them relax, because when we experience the relaxation response instead of the stress response, we have a completely different way of viewing a scenario. So like if I'm doing hypnotherapy, I'll give them a visualization that takes them to the top of a mountain, and I'll have them be on top of the mountain and look down below at the landscape below and say, okay, let's go ahead and rearrange that landscape. And how could you see it differently? How can you create it differently? What it does is it opens up subconscious resources that people have, where they realize, no, I actually can do something about my life. I can take action, or I can look at it differently, or I could choose to do something else, or I could think about it differently. It's kind of like what Kimberly was just saying, where she gave her clients some options. She's like, well, you could invest a little bit of money and get a much greater return instead of just fixing some faucets.
Yes.
And they decided to step into that possibility. And then they got $195,000 over the asking price. I mean, right. So I teach people, like, I also talk to them about the cost of not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I talk about, we were talking money hour. There are definite costs when people don't do something about something that's not working. What is going to happen if they do that? For some people, that is extremely motivating.
Yes.
It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, but if you have that balance, if you can share, this is the risk if you don't, and this is the benefit if you do. And I always end with the positive.
Yes.
Unless they're not taking action, rare occasion, but then I'll swap it and I'll start with the positive, and this is what it's going to look like if you continue to not take action, right?
Yeah, I always leave it in the positive, but it's like, hey, the thing is, and in hypnotherapy, we talk about behavior modification occurs when we realize what we're doing is not working or it's not helping, and then what we could experience if we do make changes.
Yeah. So
right?
beautiful. And you talk about, really helping them get in that space and, just in the simple things of understanding of, breathing. I mean, most people don't understand that we actually, majority of people, they breathe the wrong way. When you come, when you're born, you naturally breathe when you're actually coming in, your stomach should be going out, not coming in. And so when stress hits, you actually start doing things backwards. So just understanding breathing techniques and all of the different tools and the mindset, that's what Ariel's expertise is. So Ariel, how have you helped people stay positive during the pandemic?
So I did some fun things. I did a volunteer workout class. I thought I was going to be teaching, 3 weeks. We were all working out together. I'm like,
on Zoom.
On Zoom. And I'm like, well, I got a Zoom account. I have 35 years of dance experience, and I've got training in Tai Chi,
I can do this,
boxing, and all this stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? I'll just teach a class. I wasn't the teacher before. I was a student with everybody else. But I'm like, oh, well, 18 months later, I work with senior women. I had a group of sometimes up to 17 people on there. They said I made them feel normal. They said I made them feel like everything wasn't falling apart. Yeah. It was a really big deal for them. So I'm really glad I did that. And then, being a single mother, when school started, I had to stop. When in-person school started, I had to stop that. But I created my podcast, The Woman Power Zone, to give people, something light and fun, inspiring to listen to. Go listen to Tina's show, by the way. It's awesome on there. But I also did things like, I did these spontaneous little Facebook lives with like little stories or little pieces of information just to give people an uplift and have a sense of humor about things. I did a bunch of things like that just to try to lighten the load a little bit for people.
Yeah. Well, the best of the best, they adapt to change. And a lot of new things are created around challenging times. And so now you have all of these additional things that you've brought in. And Ariel does 100% have the mix of emotion, which brings in inspiration, and humor, which just laughing is really great. And I've been working on that. I think I'm really great on the emotional side. I just need to figure out the humor side to get that out, because I think we all have it. But anyways, sure. Ariel, what do you do for yourself personally to recharge?
So I go when I can, because I go travel. So this is an image I took just a few days ago. I travel and I go in and I do things like hiking, or sometimes I'll eat some great food, or I'll talk to people, or I'll listen to a concert. So things that inspire. So for anyone, if we pick what our passions are things that inspire us, that make us feel elevated, right? I'll go and do those things, the things that I enjoy that make me feel elevated. And I always recommend to my clients, like, fun. That's actually on my intake form. What do you do for fun? Because we are sorely fun deprived. It's been a major issue this last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So whatever people do that is fun for them, that's what they need to figure out what that is. And then they need to go figure out ways they're going to make that happen. Yeah. So everybody has a different definition of fun, right?
Yes.
But for me, travel is definitely part of that, and going to museums too. So I went to a great museum on this trip. I find that seeing things that people accomplish, I find that incredibly inspiring. So like if I go and see an incredible mural on the wall, or I go to a sporting event and see people do amazing things, at the sporting event, or I go to a museum and go, wow, look what they created. That's incredible. Yeah. Things like that. But it's important, people have been nomadic for most of our existence. It's only in the last 12,000 years that we settled down in one place. So people do have an innate desire to get out and go someplace else and get a different perspective. Yes. So that's how I do that. And that's what I suggest to people as well.
Yeah. My key to success is I work very hard and I play just as hard. So as hard as I'm working, I have a balance of playing as well. So Ariel, as I'm wrapping up your time left, we have less than a minute. How would you suggest that you continue to keep life positive in 2022 with all of the new challenges that are coming in?
Do things that uplift and elevate you. Keep working on your self-care and get out and interact with other people. It's really important. People are social creatures. Go and interact with other people some way, find some way to do it.
pretty simple call to action: self-care. Take care of yourself so you can be your best for others. Interact with people. We all need interaction, and you have to work on that positivity and what that looks like. To reach out with Ariel, please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Also, you can go on to online to themoneyhour.com. I want to thank both of you for coming into studio today and sharing with my listeners. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to having both of you back in the future.
Thank you for having us.